xLSTM. Sepp Hochreiter, the inventor of the original long short-term memory paper, and his colleagues, announced the extended LSTM. The authors asked the question, how far do we get in language modeling when scaling LSTMs to billions of parameters, leveraging the latest techniques from modern LLMs, but mitigating known limitations of LSTMs? The answer is, with xLSTM, at least as far as current technologies like transformers or state space models. The figure shows the extended LSTM, xLSTM, family. The main contributions are exponential gating, new memory mixing, matrix memory, and parallelizable. xLSTM networks have a linear computation and a constant memory complexity with respect to the sequence length. Transformers have quadratic complexity in terms of context length. The original LSTM introduced the scalar memory cell as a central processing and storage unit that avoids vanishing gradients through the constant error carousel, the cell state update. The memory cell contains 3 gates: input, output, and forget gate. Phi and psi are the cell input and hidden state activation functions. All gate activation functions are sigmoid. LSTM limitations: inability to revise storage decisions, limited storage capacities, lack of parallelizability due to memory mixing. xLSTM overcomes inability to revise storage decisions by exponential gating, and solves limited storage capacities by a matrix memory. xLSTM uses exponential gates together with normalization and stabilization, to empower LSTMs with the ability to revise storage decisions, and stabilizes gates with an additional state. The differences between LSTM and xLSTM are exponential gates, normalization, stabilization, and new memory mixing. The formulation of cell interactions together with the exponential gating is called the new memory mixing. To enhance storage capacities, increase the LSTM memory cell from a scalar to a matrix. Integrate the covariance update rule into the LSTM framework. The mLSTM forward pass. The differences between LSTM and mLSTM are exponential gates, matrix memory, normalization, covariance update rule, and parallel training. xLSTM blocks should nonlinearly summarize the past in a high-dimensional space to better separate different histories or contexts. By Cover's theorem, in a higher dimensional space, nonlinearly embedded patterns can more likely be linearly separated than in the original space. There are 2 residual block architectures in xLSTM. In a residual xLSTM block with post-up projection, like transformers, the input is fed into an xLSTM, with an optional convolution, followed by a gated MLP. Schematic representation of an xLSTM block, post-up projection. With layer norm, convolution, swish activation, diagonal blocks, recurrent gate, group norm, GELU, and gated MLP. In a residual mLSTM block with pre-up projection, like state space models, mLSTM is wrapped inside 2 MLPs, via a convolution, a learnable skipped connection, and an output gate that act component-wise. Schematic representation of an mLSTM block, pre-up projection. An xLSTM architecture is constructed by residually stacking building blocks. Experiment setup. Test of xLSTM's exponential gating with memory mixing. Test of memory capacities of different models. Comparison on next token prediction when trained on 15B tokens from SLIM, Pajama. The scaling behavior indicating that xLSTM will also perform favorably for larger models. Ablation studies on the new xLSTM components. Both the exponential gating and the matrix memory contribute. Ablation studies on different gating techniques. Dependencies of the gates on the input lead to better performance. xLSTM as large language model. Sequence extrapolation in language modeling. Validation set perplexity and downstream tasks. Performance on Paloma language modeling tasks. The scaling laws indicate that for larger models xLSTM will perform well, too. Many directions are related. The most related models share the concepts matrix memory and/or gating. They do not allow memory mixing. Memory mixing enables to solve state tracking problems, and therefore xLSTMs are more expressive than state space models and transformers. Limitations about parallel training, optimization for implementation, architecture, and hyperparameters, computation complexity, initialization, and memory overload. The figure shows the extended LSTM, xLSTM, family. From left to right, first. The original LSTM memory cell with constant error carousel and gating. Second. New xLSTM and mLSTM memory cells that introduce exponential gating. xLSTM offers a new memory mixing technique, which is important for state tracking. mLSTM is fully parallelizable with a novel matrix memory cell state and new covariance update rule. Third, mLSTM and xLSTM in residual blocks yield xLSTM blocks. Fourth, flexible stacking of mLSTM and xLSTM blocks gives an xLSTM architecture. Comments and criticisms are welcome.